Their way out onto the circuit here at Karting Adria, and this has been an absolutely fantastic build up to this so far. The battle for the title is going to be bid between 5 drivers. Senna van Walstein of the Netherlands, who comes into this final with the lead and 42 points. Giacomo Pellini of Italy is in second place with 37 points. Then in third position, we have Laurens van Hopen in third place. 26 points is his total, just 2 ahead of the Finnish driver, Paavo Tonteri. The last man in with an opportunity to take the title is the Italian Leonardo Marsiglia, who has 18 points coming to this one. He has the outside chance, and the only way he can do that and win the title is to take the victory, and with his 4 close rivals failing to score decent points. So it's definitely going to be a tight battle as the competitors make their way to the grid. Only 36 of the 80 drivers that have raced this weekend will get an opportunity to race in this final. 24 laps and a very tough mission ahead.
A very tough mission indeed for the representative of the KZ2 class making their way onto the grid. This will be the grid presentations coming up in just a few moments. So we're going to go through the entire grid, as you can see, forming before your very eyes. And we're getting ready for a fantastic show ahead of us, as we have a couple of contenders indeed for the European Championship title. That has been absolutely fantastic to follow ever since Wackersdorf, an ecstatic opening round, and oh boy, this has been exciting as well here in Adria. Those 2 tracks actually have one big thing in common, is the weather conditions. Surprisingly hot in Germany, not as much as a surprise here in Italy, even though we've been over the 30 degrees Celsius even more for most of the weekend. But Giuseppe Palomba has been able to maximize his performance and the ones of his machinery all throughout the weekend. To start from pole position, it will be on the right side of the track. The inside line on the way to turn number 1 is on the left of your picture, the 304 from Birelart. But watch out for Danilo Albanese, his fellow countryman, with the Italian colors on his Car Republic chassis, certainly to bring him good luck, even though he was penalized at some point and actually had one of his win taken away, which actually didn't prevent him from starting from the front row of the grid. But Senna van Walstein, the current provisional leader of the championship with 42 points, 5 points ahead of Giacomo Pellini, the one by his side on the row number 2, will be certainly willing to go to the concrete in this final and seal the deal and his first European Championship title at this level. We're not there yet, and there's more than one contender for the crown, and here they are. These are the machines, and the gladiators are about to make their way onto the track. The total of 36 best KZ2 drivers of the weekend, 36 out of 81 that entered here in Adria. So not a lot of tickets available for the most important of all races. 36 as well. This is the same amount of drivers I will get to see in the Academy Trophy second round coming up later on after this race, and 24 in the KZ. Everybody in, so good luck to them. But for now, the decorum is set, everybody in, and we got to thank everybody for tuning in wherever you are in the world on FIkarting.com, as well as on YouTube and Facebook, the official pages of the FI Karting Championship. Don't forget to subscribe as well on those channels, on Instagram and Twitter as well. Leave us a comment, leave us a question or suggestion, and we'll be more than happy to answer them.
Here come the drivers. They will head out of the pit lane entry and they will join us on the starting grid. It's going to be a fabulous, fabulous race weekend for the drivers to conclude the KZ2 European Championship. They come obviously trying to keep cool with the umbrellas as they head to the circuit. It is 35 degrees Celsius now, air temperature. It is one of the hottest days of the year for the European Championship. And of course, there are battles within battles. We've talked about the 5 title contenders: Senna van Walstein, Giacomo Pellini, Laurens van Hopen, Paavo Tonteri and Leonardo Marsiglia. But the 2 drivers on the front row of the starting grid, Giuseppe Palomba and Danilo Albanese, are both going to be fighting for the victory, which could give them second in the European Championship if all goes according to plan. If Palomba wins, he'll end up with 41 points. If Albanese gets the title, gets the victory, I should say, then he will acquire 39, which could technically be enough to get them into the second position point of the championship. That's the best that they can hope for. They can't really get the title because Senna van Walstein has 42 points compared to Giacomo Pellini on 37, Van Hopen on 26, Paavo Tonteri on 24, and Leonardo Marsiglia on 18. Those are the title contenders. There are 25 points available for the win, 20 for second place, 16 available for third, 13 for fourth, 11 for 5th, and then incremental points down 1 each position down to 15th place, who will get the final championship point. It's definitely going to be a very exciting battle for our contenders as they race for position. The contenders have now made their way to the starting grid, and they will receive their medals for competing at this final. Each driver that makes their way to the final is presented with a fabulous medal, and we can now present the drivers one by one to their position on the starting grid. And what a field of drivers this is. Giuseppe Palomba will take his position at the very front end of the field. The Birolart star from Italy will be the first one away, having won 4 of his 5 heats and come second in the last, and that is more than enough to secure his place in pole position. It's been a great run for Giuseppe Palomba so far. Danilo Albanese will be the man alongside him on that front row of the starting grid, and the Italian really has been exceptional to push him all the way. Now let's bring the drivers to their positions. Giuseppe Palomba, the Italian, pole position for Birolart. He will be there from the front end of the grid in the hope that this is going to be his attack for 2nd place in the European Championship, the best that he can achieve. Danilo Albanese, 2nd position on the grid for the Kart Republic Motorsport team, and his kart will carry the Italian national football colours for the pride of his nation after their recent success on the international stage. Giacomo Polini comes into this race 2nd in the point standings, 37 points, 5 behind the championship leader, and he has the chance to turn the tables. But the man who leads the points is next up. Senna van Walstein, the Dutchman, has the chance to become the European champion. He leads the point standings. A top 4 finish should secure the job. 5th position, Paavo Tonteri, the Flying Finn, still has a great chance to become champion himself. 24 points. He has a bit to gain, but he definitely doesn't have much to lose. 6th position on the grid, the Swiss superstar, Samuel Louillet, who has been very impressive over the course of the weekend, has never finished outside the top 6 this weekend and picked up a couple of 2nd place finishes in the charge. Hubert Petit of France, a great performance from him over the course of the weekend, solid and consistent with plenty of flashes of pace. Next up in the mix, it is Kaius Sixnelis, the Lithuanian and former FIA Karting Academy trophy winner. He's been absolutely exceptional all weekend and one of the rising stars of the KZ2 category. Another direct drive convert, Lawrence van Hopen, who comes into this weekend in 3rd position in the drivers' standings and with a great chance to head to the top end of the rankings for Leclerc by Lennox Racing. Next up is Arthur Carbonell, one of the most consistent performers from the 2020 season. Now he's stepping it up a gear and has even more to prove. The Polish driver is next up, Dawid Lewiński. An excellent performance from him this weekend. Solid, consistent and lightning speed. And there could be a very impressive podium for him at the end of this one. One of the stars of the field, Alessio Piccini, always incredibly quick and has lots to do on home soil. And next up is a 2-time world champion in the OK category, Lorenzo Travasanuto, stepping forward as a KZ2 front runner. Brandon Nilsson is next up, the Swede who races under an Italian license, but the CRG driver has a lot to say in this final. From the United Arab Emirates, it is Jamie Day for the Leclerc by Lennox Racing team, switching across from the OK category to KZ2 with lightning pace. Leonardo Marcellia, plagued by unreliability in one of his heats, but he has plenty still to fight for, and he is still in the title fight. Martin van Leuven, the Dutchman, with energy course and plenty of opportunities to work his way through the pack. For Romania, it is Daniel Vazil for the DR SRL factory squad, and this young star has been pushing the Modena engine to absolute extremes all weekend long. For Russia, it is Nikita Artemonov of the CPV Sports Squad on the Sodi Kart chassis, and he has been very consistent and impressive throughout. For Poland, it is Adrian Janicki of the Trosevski Racing Team, and his Cosmic has been flying through the pack. David Trevelov of Germany, not quite in the position he wanted to be in after his impressive performance at Wackersdorf, but he's still in the hunt. Juho Valtonen having a busy season in both the OK and KZ2 disciplines, and the SP Motorsport driver has plenty to do. The leading one of our 2 wildcards on the field, Jakub Kadicak for the Czech Republic. Great to see him on the field, deservedly so. For France, it is Thomas Imborg, also of the CPB Sports Squad, on the Sodicart chassis, and there's a lot from him that we have seen and been impressed by. Jorge Pescador, the man from Valencia, in the CRG, and he'll have a wonderful day at the races if his previous pace is anything to go by. Marco Torman is next up for the Modena ASD squad, the team that won last year's KZ2 International Super Cup. Andrea Dalle is next up, the former European champion, always one of the most ruthless operators within the KZ2 field. The second of our wildcards this weekend, Francesco Iacovacci. The Italian has been absolutely lightning through the course of the weekend, and he would love to end it on his terms. For Germany, it is Maximilian Pohl, who will be one of the star representatives of the grid for the DR team. He is very quick and very consistent. He should finish strong. For Italy, it is Moritz Ebner who is next up in the field. Another of our lightning youngsters on the Birolart chassis. What can he do from the mid-pack? One of the youngest men in the field, the Dutchman, Chris Harnen, has had all sorts of obstacles thrown at him this weekend. Now he can finish in fine form. For Croatia, one of the stars of the 2020 season, Christian Habulin and the TB Kart squad. He got a podium last year. Let's see what he can do in 2021. Jean Nomblot of France, always fighting, always feisty, and unfortunate in terms of his performance this weekend, but he'll want to stay in front of the German star, Tim Troger, who for SRP on the Maranello Racing chassis has a great chance to make progress from his position. The final row of the grid will see the Austrian Markus Funder for the Birolart Satellite KSW team, and alongside him on the grid, the last man in on the Lenzo Kart Luxor. For Argentina, it is Giorgio Carrara.
Thank you very much, Jake. A great presentation for a great race to come. 24 laps in total on the ADRIA Karting Raceway. As we're getting ready with the 36 gladiators of this KZ2 category, 36 tickets available out of 81 entrants, and this is going to be a great, fantastic show. The first one opening the program this afternoon, followed by the Academy Trophy Final and the KZ category last race. Here they are getting ready and to be about to sit in the machinery. This is going to be, of course, a standing start as always. After the warm-up lap, the drivers make their way back onto the grid, waiting for the officials' directives. And once our race director, Nigel Edwards, will see fit, and then the race will be launched and the lights will go off. So great performance from all those young drivers so far in the KZ2 class all throughout the weekend. Giuseppe Palomba unbeaten in all of his qualifying heats with 5 victories out of 5 attempts. 4 out of 5 for Daniel Albanese, who will be alongside him on the front row. But watch out for the title contenders indeed. Alongside each other, Giacomo Polini and Senna van Waldstein split by just 5 little points in the championship as it stands, and split on the grid by just a couple of meters. As you can see, behind Daniel Albanese on the right side of the picture is Senna van Waldstein, who's just sitting in his kart, his Sodicart machinery, and on the left side, hidden behind Giuseppe Palomba, is Giacomo Polini. But Sam Luet, Paavo Tontori behind will be more than eager to give them a hard time as we're getting ready with just a few minutes remaining, less than 2 minutes, as the guys are going to be shown the 1 minute left panel onto the grid. I can hear the whistle. 1 minute left before we get going, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in on FIAkarting.com. As the tension has got to a point, it has never been as high as right now, because after the warm-up lap, they all come back on the grid. Standing start, once the lights go off, we'll be good to go for 24 laps of intense racing.
5 drivers still in the title fight for the 2021 FIA Karting KZ2 European Championship. Senna van Waldstein, who starts from 4th. Giacomo Polini, who starts from 3rd. Lawrence Van Hopen, who starts from 9th on the starting grid. Paavo Tontori, who starts from 5th. And Leonardo Marsiglia, who starts from 16th. It will be a very tough battle. That means the front row is an all-Italian affair. Giuseppe Palomba and Danilo Albanese, who will continue their rivalry. So far, the last time they met, it was Albanese who beat Palomba. But this time, it is twice the distance of the race. 31.248 kilometers of racing to come. And this race will not only decide the title fight, but it will also decide who's the king of Italy. Is it Giuseppe Palomba or Danilo Albanese? We will find out in the next 24 laps. Giuseppe Palomba and Danilo Albanese on the front row of the grid from Giacomo Bellini and Senna Van Waalstein. Paolo Tonteri and Sam Luyet from CHPT and Kaya Sixnelis. Lawrence Van Hopen and Arthur Carbonell from David Levinsky and Alessio Piccini. Lorenzo Traversanuto, Brandon Nilsson, Jamie Day, Leonardo Marcellia, Martin Van Leuven and Daniel Vazil.
Followed on row number 10 by Nikita Artamonov, Adrian Janitsky, David Trefilov, Hugo Valtanen, Jakub Kadiciak, Thomas Imbur, Georgi Pescador, Marco Tormen, Andrea Dali, Francesco Iacovacci, Maximilian Paul, Moritz Ebner, Chris Hanen, Christian Abolin, Jan Omblo, Tim Troger, Marcus Funda and Giorgio Carrara. Here they are, all onto the track for the warm-up lap, getting the tires up to temperatures, fresher rubber, of course, for this 24 laps. This is twice the distance that they had to go through into the qualifying races, so this is going to be a long race and plenty of opportunities, plenty of open gates for the drivers to make their moves and try to collect the points and the results that they need. But as you said, 5 contenders for the European title of 2021, 2 at the front, two starting at the front but not in contention, but eager to give them a hard time in Palomba and Albanese. I was going to say 2 on the second row of the grid, Polini and Van Waalstein, followed further back by Lawrence Van Hopen and Pavel Tonteri, and let's not forget about Leonardo Marsiglia further back.
And for this final, they will get 2 formation laps around the circuit, essentially an out lap and then the additional second formation lap. This is to obviously warm the tyres and brakes to the optimum temperature that they will want from the start of the race. And then this is it, the race that decides it all. Who is going to join that incredible, illustrious list of famous racers that have already put in such an incredible job over the years to become European champion? Victor Gustafsson, Emil Skaras, Adrian Renaudin, Leon Köhler, Fabian Federer, Joel Johansson, Andrea Dale, Emil Antonsson, Simas Theodorsis, Fabian Federer, Paolo De Conto, Angelo Lombardo, Tony Lavanon, Thomas Knopper. They were all KZ2 champions going all the way back to 2007 in the European competition. And this is going to be the toughest race of the 5 drivers' lives that they have competed for the European Championship today. Senna Van Waalstein, Giacomo Bellini, Lawrence Van Hopen, Paolo Tonteri and Leonardo Marcellia. As it stands at this moment, Van Waalstein has 42 points to Giacomo Bellini's 37. 5 points between them, and there is 5 points between the winning driver and the second place driver. Lawrence Van Hopen has 26, Paolo Tonteri has 24, Marcellia has 18, but the front row of the grid is between Giuseppe Palomba and Danilo Albanese, who want to prove that they are the king of Italian KZ2. Palomba in the red and white Birolard takes his place on the inside line on the front row in the Italian national football colours on the Kart Republic chassis. Danilo Albanese lines up second on the grid. It's CRG and Sodi behind, then CRG and Tony Kart, Sodi Kart and Energy Course, with the Leclerc chassis in 9th, and in 10th, the Sodi Kart. It's going to be an amazing battle from the get-go. Palomba, Albanese, Bellini, Van Waalstein, Tonteri, Luyet, Petit, Sixnelis, Van Hopen and Carbonell. And we have got so many thrills and spills to come before this race is done. The final few drivers just taking up their positions in the starting grid. Drivers obviously managing to wheel their karts into position. They will do so just before the start so that the tyres do not stick to the surface of the road, and that is just how hot it is. 35 degrees Celsius temperature. The green flag flies at the back of the field, and we are ready for race action. This is it. The European Championship 2021 in KZ2 is about to get underway. Here we go. A great start from Palomba. Albanese is in second place. The rest of the field charges through. No major dramas, but it is Palomba in front of Albanese with a massive challenge from Senna Van Waalstein. He's already got past his rival Giacomo Bellini, and up into third position comes Van Waalstein. He's already starting to hustle the 2 drivers as Bellini is going to squeeze into position, and Tonteri has actually held his position as well. As round the outside, Bellini's going to get side by side with Van Waalstein and into third position. Van Waalstein drifts wide and loses ground to Tonteri. The Dutchman is down to P5.
And we have 3 drivers involved in an incident further back. Sorry to cut you off, Jake, but it was pretty serious. But everybody on their feet in the meantime. We'll get back to that in a minute. But what a move that was. And unfortunately, Van Waalstein actually losing a bit of ground. Let's have a look at the classification. 1 lap completed as we could try to identify the drivers involved. I think we had the Atamanov, David Trefilov and Juho Valtanen as well involved in the tussle into the opening lap. But at the moment, 2 tenths between Palomba and Albanese, the 2 leaders right now. Polini in third, Tonterri and Van Walstein dropping to 5th at the moment.
So as it stands at the moment, Van Walstein and Polini will tie for points. Oh, here's the move from Albanese. He goes side by side with Palomba. Palomba shuts the door in his face. A very close quarters racing indeed from the 2. Albanese dives again into the inside and they come together. Oh, I don't believe it. Palomba and Albanese collide and Albanese is out of the race. Palomba recovers in the middle of the field, but Palomba and Albanese have come together.
Can you believe that? Daniele Albanese is out of this race. The 301 with the Italian colors that actually left him of luck. Can you believe that in just a second of 24 laps?
This is amazing for Giacomo Polini because he's now leading with his main championship rival, Senna Van Walstein, in 3rd position. Van Walstein has got to catch Tonterri, who is Polini's teammate. Surely he will help protect and defend, but then he's got his own title fight to try and get for. So Tonterri will want to try and win this race. He's a title contender. There is still a lot to play for, but that collision between Albanese and Palomba has blown this European Championship fight wide open.
This is CRG against Sodicard for the battle for the European title.
Oh, there's more contact further back. Sorry, 2 Birolats came together there in the background. That was Levinsky and I think Moritz Ebner that ended up tagging each other. They both managed to keep going, but there was definitely one car with 2 wheels in the air. What a turnaround this is. Polini, Tonterri, Van Walstein, Petit, Carbonell, Van Hopen, Palomba and Luye. Giuseppe Palomba then in 7th place, still keeping going. But Albanese has joined Artemanov, Trevelov, Valtonen, Torman and Paul on the sidelines.
That's an impressive list of retirement already, as we only covered 3 laps in this final. David Lewinsky as well lost a pile of positions all the way down to 17, I'm afraid, for him. So he's going to have a lot to recover. But in the meantime, the battle is on. Giacomo Polini is setting the fastest lap in the lead in 49.6 at the moment for the Italian, leading Paavo Tonterri. This is the same chassis, don't you forget, but different teams, CRG and NGM Motorsport. But behind, Sodicard under the same team, CPB Motorsport, 3 drivers, 3 teammates in Van Walstein, Hubert Petit and Arthur Carbonell. So the orange army against another orange army battling in the top 5 for what could be the issue of the European Championship. But who will take the title at the end of this crazy race, getting on its head already as we lost Danilo Albanese and Giuseppe Palomba. You can see the Car Republic chassis of Albanese lying on the ground on the side of the track. What an image that is.
Van Walstein's having to defend from his teammate Petit. And Petit gets the inside. Carbonell is going to try and go side by side with him. There's clearly no team orders at CPB Sport. They don't mind at all as there's a spin further down the back of the field. That, I believe, was Moritz Ebner. So Ebner has spun down to the back of the field as side by side Carbonell and Petit getting very close together. And this is a great chance now for Lawrence Van Hopen to get himself back into the title fight. He's there in P6 behind Petit and Carbonell. If he can get a run down the main straight, he may be able to pick 1 or 2 of them off. But for Van Walstein, that collision between Albanese and Palomba has ruined his weekend, because although he's moved up to 3rd, he had enough of an advantage over Polini to be safe. Now he does not. It looks as though it's going to go from a 5-point deficit to a 4-point advantage for Giacomo Polini as Van Hopen gets past Arthur Carbonell. Gets past Hubert Petit. So Van Hopen is on the charge.
Yeah, good job from Lawrence Van Hopen. This is the 4th driver that has been overtaking since the start of this race, making his way through the field. Caius Nils as well, trying to find his place in this very, very battling field. As he said, the fastest lap, the young Lithuanian in 49.3, but is currently in 10th place, in 9th place, dropping a place since the start. But at the moment, the battle is raging. On your picture is Lawrence Van Hopen, just in front of Hubert Petit, further back as well, with Giuseppe Palomba trying to make his way through. Just behind Van Hopen, Ken Palomba trying to catch up with the rest of the field and recover from that disastrous incident and contact with Albanese in the opening lap. That remains to be seen. We still have a long way to go into this final, but at the moment there's a lot of heat all throughout the field. Daniel Vasile, the fastest out there, as Giacomo Polini is trying to increase his gap half of a second now that he has coverage on Paavo Tonterri. Senna Van Walstein is in 3rd, 8/10 of a second now deficit on Paavo Tonterri. What can the Dutchman do except putting qualifying lap after qualifying lap, shall I say, try to decrease the gap as much as he can, but it's not there quite yet, even though he's lapping in the same lap times as Paavo Tontteri, but 3/10 slower than Giacomo Polini, who has nothing to worry about. Of course, he has a clear view just ahead of him, and what he needs to do is keep on pushing, kicking the throttle as much as possible, try to increase that gap. But at the moment, Carbonell is trying to keep contact as well. Oh, and the 351 from Birolaut, unfortunately.
That's Marcus Funda. That is the KSW driver, Marcus Funda, and he has gone. That is up at turn 4, I do believe, where he has parked it. Oh no, sorry, it's even further around than that. That's up at turn 6, where Albanese had his crash with Palomba. So now Polini is half a second clear of Paavo Tontteri. The fastest lap comes in from Lorenzo Travisanuto, who has got himself into 11th place now. So he's still working hard at it, is Travisanuto, tucked in behind Daniel Vazil, the Romanian, who is in 10th place behind Lithuania's Kaius Sixnelis. So this is still a very tough run in the lower end of the top 10. Sam Luyer is still running well, the Swiss driver in 8th place behind Giuseppe Palomba, who is in P7. Paavo Tontteri is doing his best to catch up to Giacomo Polini, but at 1/3 distance, Giacomo Polini is having the race of his life, because this is the race that will make him European champion if he holds this lead.
Yeah, pretty full effort so far. 0.6 of a second as the gap keeps on increasing. Tontteri is doing what he can indeed, but he keeps alive the second position for his, which would be a great conclusion of what has been a fantastic and competitive weekend for Tontteri. But all eyes once again on Senna van Walsteen down in 3rd place, as he sees the gap, unfortunately for him, increasing close to a second now on Paavo Tontteri. So at the moment, the gaps are pretty extended between the top 3 drivers in the lead. So they're going to have to keep on pushing in the case of Van Walsteen and Tontteri, if Tontteri wants to have something yet to say in this race. So further back, Van Open and Hubert Petit, the battle raging for 4th place, just split by 0.2 of a second. Can the Frenchman try to attack the Dutch? Van Open, that he was certainly the contender that we least expected coming to this final, considering that he was starting from further back, but he's doing what he can, and with 4 places again up to the top 5, is currently sitting in 4th position in the classification of the championship. So there's not much left for him to say and to do in terms of title, but still he can catch a great result at the end of this European Championship.
Van Walsteen has got to catch and pass Paavo Tontteri if he's going to stand any chance at all of winning this European Championship. If he does that, then he will go into a tie for points with the championship leader, who he currently stands as Giacomo Polini. Polini and Van Walsteen would tie for points. Then it would go to count back as to who would become European champion. And I have a feeling that that would go the way of Van Walsteen. So that is so critical for the Dutchman. He has got to get on with this now. And meanwhile, Polini has just got to hope that Paavo Tontteri is going to remain in 2nd place, because if he does, that will secure Tontteri as 3rd in the European Championship. But not only that, it will also give his teammate Polini the European title. It is very, very tough to call, but it's all on Senna van Walsteen. Up the inside, big lunge there from Petit, who gets through on Laurens van Hopen. Nice move from Hubert Petit. That's 5th position sorted.
Yes, indeed, beautifully made from the CPP Sport driver ahead of Laurens van Hopen in what is 5th place at the moment. Further back of Arthur Carbonell, still sitting in 4th with 6 places gained. The 309 on your picture. You can see that now the race is becoming very strategic. Each driver in his own bubble, at least when it comes to the top 3. 1.1 second between Giacomo Polini and Paavo Tontteri, as Senna van Walsteen is dropping as well, with close to a second disadvantage for him behind Tontteri. Giacomo Polini once again confirming his intention. He's putting the fastest lap in this race, 49.05. Further back, Hubert Petit, Van Hopen in 5th and 6th respectively behind Arthur Carbonell. Then you have Giuseppe Palomba climbing the field once again. Palomba up to 7, but is still less than 4/10 behind Laurens van Hopen. So it's still pretty much an opportunity to be taken for Palomba. Investigation flag for Giuseppe Palomba. That's a result certainly of what happened in the opening lap. The contact between himself and Danilo Albanese that resulted in the retirement of the Italian. So quite not surprising, but the officials have the footage that they need, and they made the decision. Investigation flag is being shown for Giuseppe Palomba, still in 7th place at the moment.
It's going from bad to worse for Giuseppe Palomba, but for this man, Senna van Walsteen, he is running out of time. We're at the halfway point of the race, 12 done, 12 to go, and the Dutchman, Senna van Walsteen, is doing everything he can to gain ground and try and get himself back to the championship lead, which he held at the earliest point of the race. He actually on lap 1 had the championship lead, and since that collision between Palomba and Albanese has now slipped to second place as Giacomo Polini is pushing hard out front, setting fastest lap after fastest lap after fastest lap to try and get clear. He wants to dominate this one. He gets another new fastest lap in as Giacomo Polini. Van Walstein is over 2.4 seconds back now. So it is looking tougher and tougher for the Dutchman to take away this title fight. But what an admirable effort it is from the Dutchman to keep pushing.
And looking at the respective lap times, Travis Anuto now in 48.9, the fastest on track, the Italian. Looking at respective lap times, actually there's a 2/10 difference between the fastest of Polini and the fastest of Senna Van Walstein at the advantage of the Italian leader. So it means that despite the gap and despite the sort of space that Van Walstein has in front of him, even though he has Tom Terry as well as a prey to catch, he's not quite able to lap as it stands in the same times as Polini, who has a clear view in front of him. So quite interesting. In the meantime, Travis Anuto is trying to climb as well through the top 10, fastest on track, the Italian in 9th place at the moment in front of Daniel Vasil. Sam Luye in 8th position, and now it's done actually. Travis Anuto just went ahead of Sam Luye in the meantime, so he's in 8th place, Travis Anuto. Luye follows, Vasil is 10, Kees Sixnilis on the gate of the top 10 at the moment in 11 in front of Martin van Leeuwen. George Pescado as well further back in the classification is in the 13th place with 12 ranks gained through almost the same amount of laps. So a pretty good average of an overtaking a lap for Jorge Pescador, the CRG driver, doing what he can. Not a strong recovery further back looking at our screens. Tim Troge in 18th place, but 16 places gained. So this will be, of course, consolation for him after what has been a difficult weekend.
5 Italians have become KZ2 European champion over the years. Angelo Lombardo, Paolo De Conto, Fabian Federer, Andrea Dalle and Fabian Federer. Now there is a good chance that Giacomo Polini could join them and become the 6th Italian to win the European Championship for KZ2 since 2007. There is a very big opportunity for him and for the CRG team. Let's not forget, a lot of people wrote them off a few seasons ago. They said that once Paolo De Conto moved away from the sport, that was it. CRG were going to circle the drain. Don't even think about it. And Signor Tonini and the boys have done a great job. Look at this battle getting in there with Palomba and Travis Anuto. Travis Anuto takes on Giuseppe Palomba and passes him. That just rubs salt into the wound for Giuseppe Palomba. He did not want to be taken on by essentially a new boy to the world of gearbox racing. But Lorenzo Travis Anuto is just that. He may be a 2-time world champion, but he is still a novice at KZ2. And he's just given it to Giuseppe Palomba in absolutely fantastic style. Travis Anuto now up to P7.
Yes, that's what we like to see from newcomers in that sort of class. And Travis Anuto, of course, his first season at this level, then showing flashes of brilliance and a lot of progress through ranks and race after race, making his way up to 6th place in front of Palomba. And we're joking about with Travis Anuto earlier, actually coming to this race, saying that he's on good course maybe to secure strong results in 2 weeks' time at the World Championship. And we shall see what he's capable of doing over there, you know. But what will the future hold for Travis Anuto? Will he stay ahead in KZ2 to try to again make progress? Will he go one step further to the KZ class? Things still open, but you can feel that with the Parallel Racing Kart ensemble, they've been able really to put the finger of what they need to perform.
We may be about to get an inter-team squabble here because the CPV Sport drivers, Arthur Carbonell and Hubert Petit, are tightening up once again. And Hubert Petit has been on a string of personal best laps and working very hard. There he goes on the inside. As I say that, Hubert Petit slices through on Arthur Carbonell. Now he's going to hold the inside line through 4 to make sure his teammate cannot take the position back. That's what you've got to remember about FIA karting. It is not a team sport in the same way that other forms of motorsport are. You may run in the same morning, but it's all for every man for himself. Travis Anuto now gets his move on Lawrence Van Herpen, and that gives him 6th position. So a great run from Travis Anuto. He is going to be top 6 in his 2nd FIA gearbox outing. That is not a bad run at all from Lorenzo Travis Anuto. This is all about progress and development for the 2-time OK World Champion. Now he is thinking about Kristianstad in 3 weeks' time.
Jake, in the meantime, the gap is decreasing between Senna Van Walstein in 3rd and Paavo Tonterre in 2nd, less than half of a second now. He was close to 1 full second just a couple of laps ago. It seems that Senna Van Walstein has found a bit of pace back in the later stages of this race. There's less than 6 laps remaining before the checkered flag. Can Senna Van Wallenstein actually do the impossible as it stands and catch up with Aout Terry, and after that go the advantage on the Finnish driver in second. This is the ideal scenario when it comes to Senna Van Wallenstein. We're not there yet, but by the look of it, is lapping a little bit faster now than Aout Terry in second. Still 2.4 seconds away from Giacomo Polini. Unbeatable and reachable so far into this final race of the KZ2 class.
Well, Senna Van Wallenstein is doing the best he can to close up on Aout Terry, who really has dropped off his teammate now. Tontelli doing the best he can. If he can stay in the top three, then he will secure third in the Drivers' Championship in front of Laurens van Hopen, who was third. But now Senna Van Wallenstein is pushing, trying to look for an opportunity as Lorenzo Travasanuto sets another new fastest lap, 48.5. He has time to catch up to Artur Carbonell before the end of this race. In fact, there's the proof. He's right on him. So Travasanuto could make it to fifth position in this race. This is all about development for Travasanuto. Can he get another place? In fact, looking at the fact that we've got 4 laps to go at the end of this one, not only has he got time to catch and pass Carbonell, he's got time to catch and pass Petit.
Yeah, it remains to be seen indeed, but there's a couple of battles, of course, to keep an eye on, especially with Senna Van Wallenstein getting closer and closer to the man in second place, Aout Terry, into turn number 2. This is now hammer time for Senna Van Wallenstein. He sees his spray. He's a couple of meters just behind in third, clipping the curb outside of turn number 3. Inside turn number 4, the hairpin, where we have seen so many overtaking maneuvers, and there is Travasanuto going round the inside. Beautifully made. Travasanuto and Hubert Petit in the top 4. Beautiful race for Travi indeed, climbing the field as he does with the Parlin chassis that has been absolutely banging throughout the course of this final. Travasanuto ahead of Hubert Petit for 4th, and in the meantime we have Senna Van Wallenstein really coming across Aout Terry. This will be a fantastic battle for those last laps.
This is a great race from Travasanuto up into 5th place. He has got time to catch Petit, but this is the battle we want to watch. Terry and Van Wallenstein. If Van Wallenstein can get past Aout Terry in the closing 3 laps, then he has a chance still of becoming European champion. But he's got to make it work and he's got to make it count. He can't just banzai on the inside of Terry. He knows that he's got to be so calculated about when he picks his moment. This is all about timing, guts, determination, wisdom and guile. He's got to be so careful about when he pitches that kart up the inside of Aout Terry's CRG. He can make the move, he's got time to do it, but he's got to be calculated. You can't just go in with a little bit of energy. You've got to have absolute determination and focus. There is still time to do this. 2 laps to go, and he's got to get on with it because Hubert Petit is actually catching up to both men as well. Petit has actually put in some decent laps in. He's now catching up.
Yeah, fantastic hand of a race here in Adria, and nothing is decided yet for the order on the podium as well as in the European Championship. Can Senna Van Wallenstein catch up quite enough with Aout Terry and find that bit of a gap? He's being very aggressive, as you can see, clipping the curb. Senna Van Wallenstein wearing the colors in tribute to the legendary Ayrton Senna, who is his name after. But Van Wallenstein had the upper hand coming to Adria. Now is in a position. There he goes, at least trying to. First attempt for Senna Van Wallenstein. He's never been so close to Aout Terry into this whole final. This is the first warning signal given to Aout Terry. Can it be another one as we're about to go for the final lap of this KZ2 final, the last race of the European Championship? But who to take the crown?
It's now or never, the last lap of the European Championship season. Can Senna Van Wallenstein get past Aout Terry? If he can, then he's got a chance, but it's going to be so tight. His first big shot could be now into turn 3, but Tonterri's ready for him. Holds a decent line up towards 4. Senna Van Wallenstein is going to throw caution to the winds here. Can he get the switchback on the undercut? He gets right in behind Tonterri. Van Wallenstein goes left. Can he get the switchback on the inside? He's having a look. Senna Van Wallenstein goes for it on the inside. He stops the car and through comes Petit and Travasanuto. Van Wallenstein can't believe his luck. Giacomo Polini is going to become European champion. Absolutely amazing. 3rd in the Super Cup last season, 2nd in Europe 3 years ago. Giacomo Polini is the European champion 2021. Absolutely fantastic. Giacomo Polini, you are the king of KZ2 in 2021.
Congratulations to Giacomo Polini, winner of this year's European Championship. But what a race that has been. Second position in a crazy last lap for Hubert Petit, and Lorenzo Travasanuto, picking up his first ever podium in the gearbox category. Third position in front of Arthur Carbonell and Senna van Walstein, who lost everything after a fantastic attempt of a move in the last lap. A few corners from checkered flag. He could feel that title in his hand. He went for the move.
Look at that.
And there you can see, beautiful gesture indeed of fair play.
Great sportsmanship from Senna van Walstein. He gave it everything. He did make the move and did get a good pass on Paavo Totteri, but it just ran too wide, too deep into the hairpin. He just missed out. He is still second in the European Championship, and what a season it's been for Senna van Walstein. He will get his chance. His time will come, but Giacomo Polini, third in the Super Cup 2020, second in the European Championship 2018. At last, it's Giacomo Polini's day. It's his championship, and with a win over Hubert Petit and Lorenzo Travasanuto. Arthur Carbonell from Senna van Walstein, Paavo Totteri, Lawrence van Hopen, Giuseppe Palomba, Daniel Vasile, Sam Luyet, Kai Sixnelis, Martin van Leuven, Jorge Pescador, Alessio Pacini, David Levinsky, Leonardo Marcellia, Brandon Nilsson, and Tim Troga.
Then we have further back in the classification, Thomas Imbour in front of Francesco Iacovacci, Christian Habelin, Jean Nomblot, Jamie Day, Jakub Kadicak, Chris Hannen, Moritz Ebner, Giorgio Carrera, and Adrian Janicki, the 28th and last driver to see the checkered flag. A long list of retirement into this first final of the afternoon, with Maximilian Paul, Marco Torman, Juho Valtanen, David Trefilov, Nikita Artamonov, all involved in a big tussle in the opening lap, as well in the second lap for Danilo Albanese, unfortunately, who didn't get a chance to confirm his potential in pace all throughout the qualifying races after his incident with Giuseppe Palomba. Another retirement as well for Marcus Funda, as well as Andrea Dali.